As painful as a groany kick may be, modern dating is worse. There are just as many warning signs in women as there are in men. The problem is that some men are so desperate for female interaction that they ignore a lot of red flags or just accept them, or don't complain as often. A major red flag is that if they declare their love for you within the first few months of dating, especially if you feel as though you don't know each other well enough to make such a declaration. Even if there is nothing obviously wrong with her parents, her relationship with them may be so strained that it affects her relationship with her in a negative way. I wish I had learned to spot these warning signs a few months earlier in some of my more troubled relationships. In today's video, we'll talk about 5 of the biggest red flags of modern women that you should look before getting in a relationship. Hello and welcome. Let's get straight into the video. If a woman presents you with an ultimatum, she clearly does not love you. Finally, if she is in a relationship but claims she is not happy, only to cheat on her partner with you, she's probably just trying to solidify a new relationship with you before she leaves the old one. That means she'll do the same thing with a different guy someday when she's bored. There are probably a lot more I'm forgetting, but we men tend to overlook a lot of things because we're the ones who are always after women, regardless of whether we think they're done anything right or wrong. Some things we chalk up to them being a woman, but it's easy to tell them apart once you've met women who aren't like this. Watch out for those who refuse to try and solve conflicts peacefully. It's common for narcissists to take pleasure in the disruption and chaos they cause. Keep in mind that there are people prone to extreme conflict. They have a great need for conflict and argument. In the eyes of a narcissist, peace is as unsettling as disorder is the rest of us. That's why they keep doing the things that get them in trouble. Stress, anger, and heightened or uncontrolled feelings are required. They constantly accuse others of being crazy, dramatic, insecure, etc., but they never own up to their own actions. And if you try to talk to them about something they said or did, they will gaslight you, stonewall you, or turn the conversation around on you. They lack any sense of empathy and treat others with extreme disdain and rudeness. They have a problem being called out and will use projection and deflection to avoid responsibility for their actions. The vast majority of normal people simply want peace and harmony, so when disagreements arise, they try to find reasonable solutions. To a narcissist, conflict is their calling, and they will stop at nothing to achieve their goal of victory. Many narcissists achieve their goals by wearing others down through endless arguments. Immaturity. As an adult, it's acceptable to act playful and humorously when appropriate. Taking advantage of others is one thing. Being immature is another. Narcissists have stagnant personalities because of their lack of growth. They have no idea how to handle different types of people, conflicts, and stresses. They think like a child. Their minds, everything revolves around them, and they have no empathy for the feelings of others. All children are innately opportunistic. They are completely oblivious to the idea of giving something back. They have the naive notion that their needs are the reason their parents and everyone else exist. When their wants and needs aren't met, they act out badly and have tantrums. Narcissists have the self-centeredness of children. They can only focus on what they want or need. They have no idea that people have free will, specific desires, and unique perspectives. They think everyone only exists solely to cater to their needs. They have the misconception that their only function is to take. They're still mature people living in adult bodies who can't think about anyone or anything but themselves. In a romantic partner, people prioritize shared interests and values, a shared desire to get to know one another and share one's own story, as well as a shared set of interests and core values. To list out everything that could mean this or that based mostly or solely on past experiences is limiting and inaccurate as it lumps to others together rather than treating them as individuals. Relationships ending red flags for me include self-destructive habits, substance abuse, and intellectual incompatibility. Not warning signs, deal breakers. Some of the responses, like the idea that women who don't have children by the age of 30 are narcissistic, that having a child and then divorcing is a failure, make me wonder about the perspective from which such ideas originate. I'm not sure I could generalize and say that all 30-year-old men who are neither married nor have children are complete and utter failures, especially if they've been through a divorce. It's an interesting way of looking at the world, though, and I wonder what the results are. We do better by knowing ourselves and seeking what we desire rather than too quickly judging in generalization. Since adults can choose to live however they please, they're likely to attract others who are like them or are willing to accept them despite their differences. She's always judging you. Now, there's a big difference between complaining and criticizing. When someone is late and doesn't call you to let you know, it's considered a complaint. That's the kind of criticism that goes, "You're not forgetful, you're selfish. Why don't you ever remember me?" Do you see how that's different? We're only human after all, and we lose our tempers and criticize occasionally. However, being used as a scapegoat on a regular basis is not acceptable and can lead to the other 3 horsemen. As a result, she becomes defensive. Blaming the other person is the 3rd horseman of a doomed relationship. When someone makes a mistake, they have the option of apologizing and accepting responsibility for their actions or defending their position. However, taking the defensive will only serve to escalate the conflict by shifting the blame. The word sorry is priceless, but it shines brightest in interpersonal relationships. There's a warning sign for you if your girlfriend can't or won't admit when she's wrong. When there's a problem, she just ignores you. Stonewalling is an alternative route to contempt that people in a relationship sometimes take. Your girlfriend isn't the type to simply ignore you during a conversation. Instead, she actively avoids it. John Gottman says if your girlfriend is avoiding you, acting busy, or otherwise avoiding or refusing to participate with you, it's because she's psychologically flooded and cannot have a rational discussion with you. If this sounds familiar, you need to take a break. It may only take 20 minutes for one person to calm down, but if it takes another person several days, you may want to reevaluate how seriously you feel about the relationship. She hasn't been trying to better herself by reading or otherwise. I assume you share my passion for books. Perhaps you're an inquisitive person who regularly enrolls in classes at the nearby university. It's not good news if your girlfriend doesn't value education or doesn't enjoy reading. Quickly gauge a woman's interest in you by finding out if she's a reader by asking her on a date if she's currently reading anything. You should probably find out why she hasn't read a book in over a year. A year's a long time, even though life can be hectic. You become like the average of the people you spend the most time with. If your girlfriend or wife is not learning and growing with you and encouraging you to do so, it'll be difficult to make progress in your own development. She's playing you for a fool so she can have an affair with someone else. They will assure you that there's nothing like their previous partners. You are not different from their exes, so stop fooling yourself. The hard truth is they will break up with you too when they meet the next Mr. Right comes along. When you're in a committed relationship, it's not always easy to look reality in the eye and accept the facts as they are. I hope that being aware of these warning signs in women will allow you to determine whether or not your current relationship is unhealthy, and if not, to be grateful for what you have. Consider these the most glaring warning signs of contemporary women. What do you think? Tell us in the comment sections below. And if you guys like this video, then be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, if you don't want to miss out on any new future videos, then make sure to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you're notified the next time we upload a video on the latest. Thanks for watching.